Hey guys, we're going to start this week by looking at reducing fractions, and then next week we'll move into slope, and you will need to be able to use this to do slope. I know you guys miss me. You can't wait to be back in my class, especially Presley, who probably isn't watching this video. But I'm ready for y'all to be back and to see you and to hear all about your Christmas. Hope y'all have a good week. And if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, so fractions should be written in simplest form always. Alright, so you always want to write it in simplest form. Alright, so we call converting a fraction to simplest form reducing the fraction. Alright, so to reduce a fraction, you're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator. Alright, if you have a fraction, if you have 5/7, the top is the numerator, and the bottom is the denominator. Okay, and you're going to divide them both by the greatest common factor. And what that means is the biggest number that goes into the bottom and the top. Both, the same number has to go into both of them, and you use the biggest one. Okay, so a fraction is in simplest form if the greatest common factor is 1. So if you look at these two numbers, the only number that will go into 5 and 7 is 1. Okay, so that is in simplest form, 5/7. It won't simplify anymore. Alright, so if we are reducing 8/12, okay, to reduce that, okay, we know 1 will go into both of them. Okay, that's not our goal. We want to find the biggest number that will go into both of them. Alright, so what it shows here is factors of 8 and 12. So I'm going to rewrite this at a different spot so I have room. So if you're looking at 8/12, okay, the numbers that go into 8, 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so your factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Okay, now let's do the same thing for 12. 1 times 12 is 12. Okay, then you go up. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so if you look at those numbers, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now, what our goal is to see what the biggest number that they both have in common. So they both have 1 in common, but that's not the biggest number. They both have 2 in common. They both have 4 in common. Okay, 12 does not have 8, so that we can mark 8 out. So the biggest number that they both have in common is 4. So once you find that biggest number, what you do is divide both numbers by that number. So we're going to divide both numbers by 4. Okay, you can use a calculator for this. You can also use a calculator to find the numbers that go into it. You just say 8 divided by 1, 8 divided by 2, 8 divided by 3, 8 divided by 4. Once you get to that number, you can't go any higher. Okay, so now 8 divided by 4 is 2. I'll put it over here. Okay, 12 divided by 4 is 3. That is in simplest form. Okay, and how can we know? Well, the biggest number that will go into 2 and 3 is 1. Okay, so that is in simplest form. And we got what we did here. Alright, so let's look at some of these questions down here. I'm going to do 3 of them with you. And then you're going to do, I'll do 4 of them. And then you're going to do the other 8. Alright, so 8 and 10. Alright, so we just did the factors of 8, and I'm going to do them off to the side. And I'm going to do these 4 on the left, and then you'll do the other 8. So, 8/10. So I'm going to put my factors out here. We know that 1 times 8 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, 3 times nothing, and then if you got to 4, well, we already got 4 and 2, so we don't need to do anything else. Alright, 10. 1 times 10 is 10. Then you go to 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times nothing. 4 times nothing. 5 times 2. So once we run into one of our numbers, we're done. Okay, so let's see what they have in common. They have 1 in common. They have 2 in common. Okay, they don't have 4, 8, 10, or 5 in common. So you choose the biggest. The biggest is 2. Now, that is not your answer. You're going to divide 8 and 10 by 2. Alright, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and you can use your calculator. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And I'm going to use that as the fraction bar. Okay, so that's it. That's all you're doing. All right, so let's look at number 4. All right, 9. 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times nothing is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. If you have the same number, it would just start over, so you don't have to find any other ones. All right, 12. We know 1 times 12. Then we know 2 times 6. 3 times 4. All right, 4 times 3 would flip it back around, so we're done. All right, so we're looking for ones in common. We have 1. We have 3. Okay, and then they don't have 9 in common. So 3 is our biggest number in common. That's not our answer. We're dividing both of them by 3 to simplify. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay, let's look at 17 and 20. 1 times 17 is 17. 2 times nothing, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you did 17 divided by any other number, you're not going to get anything. Okay? 20 is 1 times 20. 2 times 10. 4 times 5. Okay, 3 didn't. And then once you get to 4, you do 5. 5 times 4, it flips it around, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, what is our greatest common factor here? It's just 1. So that is in simplest form, so there's nothing you can do to it. Okay, if you divided them both by 1, you're going to get 17 and 20 still. All right, now let's look at 15 and 3. One thing you always want to check is to see if the bottom number goes into the top. So if you did 15 divided by 3, you're going to get 5. But let's just look at it. 15 is 1 times 15. 3 times 5. And then 4, nothing. 5 times 3 flips it around. All right, the only ones you have for 3 are 1 and 3. Okay, so they have 1s in common and they have 3s in common. So the biggest is 3. If you divide them both by 3, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now, 5 over 1, if anytime you get a 1 on the bottom, you can always simplify that. Okay, so 5 divided by 1 is just 5, which is what we've already said. Okay, you're going to do 2 through 12, and then you will have the same type deal the rest of the week. On Friday, you'll have a quiz on simplifying fractions. If you have any questions, send me a message on Schoology. Or by this time, you should be signed up for my Remind, and you can send me a message on there. All right, hope you'll have a great week.